Today we're weeding out fact from fiction and reviewing the best and worst Twitter tweets. Or tweets on Twitter, or however you want to say it. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. My name is Katie. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer, and here on the channel we help take you from diets and restriction to fueling your body with ease and with mindfulness and intention. So if that interests you, then stick around and consider subscribing if you enjoy this video. And if you have any TikToks, tweets, or videos that you'd like me to review in a future video, then let me know in the comment section below. Now let's dive in. Protein isn't satiating. Fat and carbs increase drive to eat. If you understand this point, then you understand nutrition science. I didn't know that that was the key to nutrition science. Internet doctors really got me exhausted this week. All right, so if we really break down what he's saying, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So technically, all foods are satiating, right? They all fulfill a need and provide our body with energy, which allows our body to create what's called ATP to keep all the functions in our body going. And here's what I think a better way to frame it would be, or a more nuanced way to frame it would be. We are more designed as humans to crave fat and carbs. If we're out in the wilderness and we're hunting for food, we're going to look for A, quick energy, which is carbs first because we need energy to actually live. And then B, we're going to search for fat because this essentially means that we have something to protect our vital organs, our skeleton, and our body in an essence. And since fat is higher in calories per gram, then this means it'll keep us fueled for longer. So again, in a situation where maybe we go without food for a long time, fat is really essential. And I think what he's trying to get at here is that carbs and fat are typically more targeted to being the hyper palatable foods that we see, like packaged foods and stuff like that. Sure, in this day and age, a lot of foods are hyper palatable, which means they're kind of designed to make you crave more. So being really high in sugar, being really high in salt, and other things like that can create the drive to have these foods more often, and especially if they're processed and low in fiber, low in protein, and low in fat even, it can make it so we feel like we're craving foods constantly, when really that's just because we're not getting enough balance of all types of foods, not because there's something inherently wrong with carbs and fat. And I think it's not totally fair to loop all carbs and all fats together because there are a lot of nuances to the different types of carbs and fats we have too. So essentially he's saying that an apple and a pineapple would cause the same amount of cravings as a cookie or a brownie. Stop trying to cancel food groups, and no, this is not the key to understanding nutrition science. Trust me, it's a little bit deeper than that. 95% of diseases are caused by three things: lack of exercise, poor nutrition, and chronic stress. Control all these things and you will live a longer, healthier life. There is definitely things that we do have control over that directly correlate to our overall health and well-being. And he's right, stress, exercise, and nutrition are the top things that you can control to some degree, or at least with stress, you kind of have like, you can't always control stress, but you can definitely work on how you approach stress and how proactive you are with dealing with stress. So yes, totally agree. Now I'm gonna be the nuance police here, I guess, because I understand that tweets are short and sweet and to the point, so they don't leave a whole lot of room for nuance, but I still gives me a little pet peeve vibes to see some of these things out there. To say 95% of diseases are caused by things, you know, I don't know this for a fact, but this seems like a made-up statistic. And the big problem that I have with the wording here is that he's making it seem like if you control your exercise, nutrition, and stress, that you will never experience disease in your life. And for any of you who have had family members or close people in your life that you know deal with something like cancer or heart attack and stroke, you'll know that this isn't always the case. You can have a perfect diet, perfect exercise regime, and manage your stress fairly well and still end up experiencing disease sometime in your life. And what that has to do primarily with is your genetic makeup. And that's a pretty heavy weighing factor to whether or not you will experience chronic disease sometime in your life. Now, if you have good nutrition, good exercise, then you are definitely more likely to push that off longer, and your odds are better that those genes don't turn on. Those genes that could cause disease don't turn on. But yeah, I don't like the faux statistic and the if you eat healthy, then you're never gonna experience any chronic disease in your life. I just don't think that's totally true. And a good example of this is you've probably heard of the woman who lived to be 100 and was a chronic smoker and drank Diet Cokes all day. And you've probably heard of someone who lived until they're 40 years old and died of a heart attack who ate a really good diet. Again, this is not to say that eating a good diet is pointless, because it's definitely not. I like the idea of controlling what you can control, but probably not a good idea to tell people that they have a 95% chance of living till 100 or whatever if they eat perfectly and exercise perfectly. Find a different grifter. Stop looking for shortcuts, eat clean, and work out. Yeah, this definitely highlights some of the issues going on right now in the media with a lot of the nutrition charlatans like the Liver King and Carnivore MD and stuff like that too. If it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. While I know it's super easy for myself as a dietitian to be like, oh, obviously this is total BS and you can't take shortcuts and you can't lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks and all the things that the magazines and media and social media gurus talk about. But I do understand the psychology. Like in other aspects of my life, sometimes I catch myself thinking the same type of train of thought where it's like, okay, how do I make $1 million in like a year? It's like, it's so easy to get caught up in the short, quick fixes. But just like the financial YouTubers that I follow will tell me, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to do the boring work to get to $1 million. It's the same thing with nutrition. You have to do the boring stuff like exercise regularly, take care of your stress through mindfulness and meditation, and fuel your body well with good nutrition and balanced nutrition to get to your goals long term. And you have to rinse and repeat. And this can sound like a broken record, but the truth, while it may be boring, is actually a heck of a lot easier than trying to do crazy things like the Liver King recommends, like eating raw liver every day. In my opinion, I'd rather take that route, but maybe that's just me, I don't know. I'm no doctor, but I can say that strokes are a scary and unpredictable thing. Even as pro athletes go, no one takes care of his body like Chris Letang. Sorry, I don't follow sports, so if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. The workouts, the nutrition. He's a step above everyone else, and he's had 2 strokes by 35. Frightening stuff. Yeah. I think this goes back to what we were talking about in the earlier tweet about how there are some things that are out of your control, right? And I hate saying it like that because it seems like there are these things that you will have no control over in your life, but that is the unfortunate truth. When you're born, you can't really control who is in your family history and what kind of conditions are in your family's genetics. And that's just the way it is. The only thing we can control is diet, exercise, stress, how we treat our bodies, being social, being healthy in all different types of ways in our life. That is what we can control. Now, it's important to note that the main risk factors for a stroke is high blood pressure, diabetes, high LDL cholesterol, which from the research that we have is usually due to a mix of inactivity, having a low amount of fiber in your diet, and a high amount of dietary saturated fat. So if you're looking to tweak your LDLs, that would be a great place to start. Also, smoking, age, and gender have to do with your risk level for a heart attack and stroke. So men are more likely to experience this at a younger age than women, but women tend to live longer than men, so we have a higher risk overall in our lifetime. Now, a lot of these risk factors that I mentioned are things that you cannot control, but there are definitely things that you still can do to protect your risk against heart attack and stroke. The main things to focus on is stop smoking if you were a smoker, have more healthy fats and fiber in your diet. Fiber is a great thing to eat because even though we don't actually use fiber in terms of like digesting it for its nutrients, fiber is kind of like a sweeper throughout the gut, and it helps pull out anything in excess, like cholesterol that's in excess. If you're having high saturated fat diet, it'll help pull in that excess and excrete it through our bowel movements. So if you've gone to your doctor and your LDL cholesterols are super high and you've been exercising, you've been lowering your saturated fat, and you're not sure what else to do, find some ways to add extra fiber in your diet, whether it's through whole grains and fruits and veggies or added fiber like flax seeds or chia seeds. You're gonna wanna increase that fiber. All right, I am so bad at going through these quickly. I've studied nutrition for 9 years and I'm almost finished with my master's degree in nutrition. And I feel qualified to tell you that too many people focus on weight and not enough on eating to nourish their bodies. Absolutely agree. This is not to say that weight has zero factor on your health. It is one of the many things that weighs in, including like weight distribution. It definitely has a role to play that is proven to actually make a difference in our health outcomes. Now, not to take away from the point of this tweet, because I think it is a very valid point, it really frustrates me as a dietitian to see nutrition be all about weight loss, because you can seek to be in a healthier body without seeking to lose weight. For example, you may be an athlete looking to achieve better exercise performance through nutrition, and tweaking your diet in certain ways, adding carbs, adding protein can impact your muscle gains and your endurance. You may also be someone who is diabetic, and so you are looking to balance your blood sugars through proper nutrition and proper meal distribution. These are all things that have nothing to do with weight loss. They have to do with making your diet catered to you to make you feel, look, and exude your best self. A few weeks ago, I actually did a YouTube creator survey, and they asked to pinpoint what category your YouTube channel fit in. And I was looking, of course, for nutrition and health. And I scrolled down and looked through the whole list, and what do I see? It says health/weight loss. And that was literally the best option to go with for my channel, because of course I'm about health, but then it has to be looped in with weight loss. And it was just so frustrating to see that it had to be considered that way. I understand that, you know, it is a challenge that a lot of people face and that a lot of people are interested in, but I think it's just so important to note that like nutrition is not just for people who want to lose weight, and your only goal doesn't have to be to lose weight. It can be to feel better. It can also be to look better, that's fine too, and to have better mood. Nutrition at its core is choosing nutrient-dense options, eating regularly, enjoyment of food, and using food to feel more energized to fuel your day. It's not just to manipulate your body. Restaurants listing nutrition info is a blessing and a curse at the same time. Definitely. I think that there's really good intentions behind listing the calorie counts. I mean, some people want that transparency and just want to know what they're eating, and I think that's totally fine. But at the same time, I wish that there was different things than just listing the calories. Just like they do, like this is vegetarian versus gluten-free. I wish they could do something more like this is high fiber, this is low sodium, high in antioxidants, you know, kind of have this display of like, these are the different options you have and this is how to pick a healthy meal at this restaurant, without just saying this is the lowest calorie thing, because the lowest calorie thing isn't always like the healthiest thing. There's a lot more to something being healthy than just being low calorie. All right, if you are enjoying this video, definitely hit the like button and let me know in the comment section below, what are some of your thoughts and feedback on the tweets that we're going through today. I want to hear from you too. This is a conversation. And also let me know any video ideas that you have in the future. And if you enjoy some of the content on this channel, if you're looking to fuel your body and your fitness in a more mindful and intuitive way, then don't forget to check out the holiday promo going on right now for the Mindful Muscles Academy. It is my signature nutrition program that teaches you how to fuel your fitness and your active lifestyle without having to resort to diets. And we're adding some new lessons in the new year, so I think you're really gonna love it and you're really gonna wanna lock in the amazing deal that's going on, because we're not gonna have too many deals like this one for a while. So link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. The deal is around until the end of December. All right, without further ado, let's get back into the tweets. Ironically, most doctors only take one college course in nutrition, so their understanding of this topic is little to none. Okay, so this is a really important thing to note. Most doctors, and I've confirmed this with a dietitian who is married to a doctor, only take 1 to 2 nutrition courses, or they're only required to take 1 to 2 nutrition courses. There are some exceptions, I'm sure, out there, so this is not just a all-encompassing comment, but I think it's something that we need to talk about because I see so many doctors on Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that give nutrition advice. Doctors have to know a zillion different things about the body, so it makes sense that they wouldn't need to know all the nitty-gritty details of nutrition. And the reason that I want to point this out is not to bash doctors, because I fully respect the job a doctor does, and I cannot imagine the amount of dedication, passion, and intelligence that it takes to make it into medical school and to become a doctor. But here's where I worry about taking your doctoral degree and turning it into a nutrition degree magically. Dietitians specifically not only have our background in nutrition science and nutrition metabolism, we also have to know a great deal about trauma-informed care, nutrition counseling, and how to deal with the psychology component that comes with nutrition. Because I think if you've ever been on a diet, if you've ever had to heal your relationship with food, if you've ever had anything in your life that relates to food and nutrition, you'll probably know that it's not simply knowing enough, it's also a ton of psychology, which I think can be often missed by doctors. Again, not a sweeping generalization about all doctors, but especially the ones on the internet seem to be causing a lot of problems. Dr. Mike is excluded from that. I love to say if we all just stay in our lane as professionals, we can maximize the care that we give to our clients versus trying to step on each other's toes. If you want to make more money, start taking care of your health. Oh boy. Is it take care of your health and then you'll make more money, or is it make more money and then you'll be able to take way better care of your health because you have lots of privilege? Listen, health is both a privilege and a choice. So yes, it doesn't just take privilege, it also takes choice and action on your part. So I don't want to take away from that or minimize that. I know that for sure. But I will say, even from my own experience, right now I am simply working on this YouTube channel. I'm also creating online courses and taking on coaching clients, but I am a new baby business. So I'm really writing off my savings right now, and it's been incredibly stressful. I'm not gonna lie. And I realized once I went full time with this, how this changed my eating habits. When I go to the grocery store, instead of picking Dave's Killer Bread every time, sometimes I'll get the cheaper brand that may be a little bit less healthy than Dave's Killer Bread because I know I'm on a budget. And I get less fresh produce and more frozen and canned because I know that I don't want it to go bad. I don't want it to go to waste because I'm limited on my budget. And this is just a tiny, tiny look into what people with actual food insecurity go through. It's not simply that they need to eat better and then they'll become rich. It's often a privilege they don't have. And in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, your shelter, food, and sense of security is the number one thing. It's the bottom of the pyramid that determines if you can go higher up on the pyramid. So I think this is really just I totally dislike this tweet. I think it's just maybe coming from a place of not understanding that perspective, which I totally get, but it's not just that simple. Otherwise, I'd be super rich right now. Good morning. People don't die from old age. Don't they though? Diseases kill people. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to drink my coffee for this. Today, most of those diseases are preventable because they're related to what we eat. Take your diet seriously. Start now. I feel like we're like beating a dead horse in this. I don't even think I'm like repeating people that I'm pulling tweets from, but it seems like there's just this common consensus that if you eat healthy and exercise, you're just gonna live forever. I mean, I don't think we need to repeat what we've already said here. Yes, you have some controllable factors, and diet and exercise and stress reduction are some of them, but you can't prevent every single thing that happens to every single person just through those things alone. So stop saying that disease is 100% preventable. Your bowel movements are a great indicator of your health. You should be taking note and adjusting your nutrition accordingly. This may be TMI, but you shouldn't have to wipe after a BM or bowel movement. It should come out easily and cleanly with minimal effort. Number 4 is ideal. Yeah, this may be a little TMI of a chart, but hey, I ain't a clinical dietitian, but that doesn't mean we don't talk about poo sometimes. So as he states, number 4 is gonna be the most ideal and little straining and a smooth exit, so to speak. So if you are struggling to get a clean number 4, then try increasing your fiber. Fiber is great for a lot of reasons. Overall GI health, GI motility, including having regular bowel movements, and also potentially reducing your LDL cholesterol. So great for a lot of things. And only about 5% of Americans are actually getting in their recommended amount of fiber daily. So it's definitely a big, big problem. And most likely that means that a majority of you probably aren't meeting your fiber needs. Let me know in the comment section below, are you part of the 5% or the 95%? No shame either way, this is a judgment-free zone. The cure for skinny fatness is neither cutting nor bulking. It's dialing in your nutrition at maintenance calories with adequate protein. And lift like you effing mean it. I don't mind saying the F word, it's just that YouTube will demonetize this video. Okay, so I still don't quite understand what skinny fatness means. Like, are we saying that you're skinny but not healthy? Because the word itself or the phrase itself doesn't even make sense to me. But as we said earlier in the video, weight is not the only factor to your health, so it just, again, doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like a less sensationalized way of saying this is essentially just to gain muscle, increase protein and lift weights, and eat adequate calories, which sounds a lot better than what they have just stated. But again, everything on the internet just has to be so sensationalized. It drives me absolutely bonkers. Oh, we got the nutrition doc back. Signs you're serious about your health. Oh boy. You no longer use vegetable oil. You use butter/ghee and coconut/olive oil instead. Why didn't you just put commas in the middle of those things? Guess he's not an English major either. You no longer use sea salt. You use pink Himalayan salt instead. You no longer eat a carb/sugar laden breakfast. You skip it or eat eggs/steak. I like how the only way that you can be serious about your health is if you skip breakfast and or eat eggs/steak. That's like pretty darn specific and pretty weird terms and conditions for being a healthy person. Whatever. I have a new list to send back to the quote nutrition doc. Signs you're serious about your health from an actual dietitian. You don't listen to people who are all or nothing about food and make you obsess over tiny little stupid nuances about nutrition. You eat all types of food with mindfulness and intention to nourish your body, not to fit some guru's definition of what healthy is. You eat a mix of carbs, fat, and protein at most meals, and you listen to your hunger and fullness cues to guide you instead of a tweet. And there you go, the key to optimal health. If you want to learn how to fuel your fitness without dieting, check out my free masterclass on how to do exactly that without the diet BS. And if you're watching this in December of 2020, don't forget to hop on the holiday deal for the Mindful Muscles Academy, $100 off until the end of December. If you want to keep hanging out with me on YouTube, then click or tap the screen to head on over to the next video. Bye guys.